Salsa Steve, going on adventures that you won't believe. Been around the world and back again. Don't miss, make sure that you're tuning in. Yeah, hey, good food, good times. Too much fun, so we can't slow down. Got that vibe, he bring that sauce. On the next flight, and we about to take off.
Alright guys, so we are back. I took a little hiatus, but so now we're gonna start the new season off with my man,
Hey,
Dario Garcia.
aka Dario Mambo.
Dario Mambo. Alright, so let's just get started with a little about Dario.
Okay,
Yeah, let's do that.
shoot.
Let's do the beginning, man.
By the way, before we get started, I just want to say I miss your episodes, man. It's been a while since you had an interview, so
I miss them too, man. I think it puts this nice room to use.
yeah, nice.
And it also makes me clean it, you know?
Gotta do it every now and then.
Yeah. So, but hopefully now we're going to be doing every week again.
Cool.
We're going to see who we get in next week.
Nice.
I already have some ideas of how we're going to be doing stuff differently.
Nice.
So, yeah, dude. We're going to be coming back.
Tune in.
All right, Dario. So, let's go back. I know you started out here in San Antonio.
Started out as in like born, or like
Were you born
conceived.
here?
Yeah. I guess you can say I literally was started out here. I was conceived here. No, I was born in San Antonio.
You were?
But my parents were born in Mexico.
Oh, okay.
So they immigrated to Texas, United States, when they were like teenagers,
Mhm.
and they actually met in high school.
Oh, wow.
And
Okay, so they went to school here.
They went, well,
Oh, we went to high school.
my mom lasted 2 weeks before she dropped out. She went to Burbank High School, and at the time, there was a lot of like discrimination, hazing for people who didn't speak English. Yeah, so she lasted 2 weeks and dropped out her freshman year. She was like 14, 15.
That's rough.
Yeah, and my dad, he was a little bit older, and then he survived high school just getting into fights and being, physically attacked all the time. And I think he left school like 2 months before graduation. So he ordered his graduation ring. So it came in the mail, and he got it, but he never walked the stage or really graduated.
Oh, wow.
I believe, that was the story he would say.
Tougher for Latinos back then.
Yeah, this is Burbank High School. Now, I'm not sure you're familiar with San Antonio, but you look at Burbank High School now, it's probably like 99.9% like Hispanic Latinos there now.
Oh, really?
Everybody probably speaks Spanish and English there.
Mm-hmm.
But this is back in like the early 80s, late 70s.
Okay.
Yeah. And so, yeah, I was born here in San Antonio.
Okay, nice. And, okay, so...
Born in Santa Rosa Hospital. Is that hospital? I don't know, you familiar with downtown? You know the big mural of the kid holding like a little dove?
No.
If you go on a highway, I think it's 35, there's a big hospital with a big, huge mural, and there's a little kid, and he's kind of holding a dove. I think there's either Virgin Mary.
Can you see it off the highway going north?
If you're going, if you know where UTSA is downtown, it's right across the street.
Yeah, I know what that is.
If you know where Market Square is downtown, it's like that area.
Mm-hmm.
But that was the hospital I was born.
Oh, okay, nice. All right, so then we continue.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you went to elementary, middle school.
Mm-hmm.
You told me you went to Jefferson High School.
Went to Jefferson High School. I lived like less than a mile and a half, so sometimes I would walk to school or even would drive. But yeah, I lived close enough to walk
Oh, wow.
to my high school. Wait, actually, no, that was, yeah, actually, my high school, I can walk to my high school.
Mm-hmm.
So I grew up in that area. I literally lived behind my elementary school. So here's my house, here's the fence and the alley,
Mm-hmm.
and then here's my elementary school.
Okay.
And we had a corner lot. So growing up, I have 4 brothers, and we're all roughly the same age. It's like 7-year difference between 5 kids. So the elementary school, they really knew this house because the Garcia brothers would come in, at a time, and we all had the same teachers. And like we lived so close to the house, to the elementary school, that when we climbed the trees in our house, like we can see into the property of the school.
Oh, wow.
So sometimes we'll go home from school early, and there's kids playing after school, and we'll climb the trees and like say hi or like wave at them and stuff. One time this happened, and I'm not lying. One of my teachers was so upset with me that she walked me literally to my house. She walked me to my house because she knew my mom was home.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, that happened one time.
What's the age difference between like your oldest and the
7
youngest?
years.
Oh, 7 years?
7 years.
Are you the youngest?
I'm the second youngest.
So it's 1 younger than you.
So there's a brother that's, man, I don't remember, man, but I think like 35 by now, 34.
Mhm.
Another brother's 33. No, it's 34, 33, 32, 31, and I think my younger brother's 29.
Okay.
One of my brothers were born in the same year. Yeah, so this is so Mexican, right? So yeah, so we have one brother born in January, the other one in December.
That's
88.
hilarious.
Yeah, so about 3 weeks or 4 weeks of the year, we're actually the same age. Yeah, so from December 15th.
How are you and your brother the same age? That's weird.
Yeah, I know. That is weird if you think about
I
it.
think I know a lot of families that have a lot of siblings.
Uh-huh.
Where that happens.
Yeah. The joke my family always says that my mom really wanted a girl,
Mhm.
and after about the 5th boy, like she knew, okay, it's not in her cards. So it's like, let's just stop.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. 4 boys.
Hmm.
That must be tough.
Yeah.
Dude, for a mother, it's like, God, man, you got to care of all these men in here.
Can you imagine how much it fed to,
No.
how much it cost to feed these kids?
4 kids. I mean,
5.
5?
Yeah.
Oh, you have a sister too?
There's 5 of us.
Oh, I thought there was 4. Oh, you have 4 other brothers.
4 brothers. Yeah.
Oh, there's 5 brothers?
5 brothers.
Gosh.
Yeah.
I thought there was 5. Another one? Bro, 4 sounds like a lot, man. 5?
Yeah.
Dude, your parents were playing zone, dude.
Yeah.
Just,
I know.
I take these.
The joke is there's no TV back then, and they're Catholic, so they don't believe in safe sex, protection sex. Or,
Oh, yeah.
so they just went at it. So the youngest one is 7 years younger than the oldest one, and there's 5 of us.
Okay.
So it's like, for like 7 years, I guess my
But
mom.
sometimes I'm like, is it better to have it like that or have kids that are like 7 years apart? I know families that kids are like so far apart
Yeah,
that it's almost weird. They're almost like different generations.
yeah, yeah,
You know,
yeah.
but when they're 7 years apart, all those
Yeah.
can hang together.
No, it's opposite with my experience because some of my brother's friends are my friends.
Yeah.
In fact, I have a few friends that grew up with 1 or 2 of my brothers who don't really talk to them, talk to me, and vice versa. It's kind of, Daniel, for example, Daniel De Leon
Mhm.
and Davo,
Mhm.
they grew up with my younger brother. They went to school with him.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So now, Daniel's one of my good friends. For Yuki and I, and like we talk to him all the time. He comes to our class. He's our student. Like we have a stronger relationship now. But really, like,
Oh, Daniel's also born and raised here.
yeah,
Oh,
we're
wow.
neighbors.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he grew up like 4 houses.
So you knew Thabo from like
No, him,
back in the day? or-
he went to school with my brother, and so I knew of him because I was close.
School, like high school?
High school.
Like Jefferson High School?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and I really didn't get to know Tavo until he started taking classes with us.
Okay.
But I knew Daniel since. And here's a funny story. Like this guy used to take karate classes
Mhm.
when he was young, and he used to know how to like bend your fingers backwards.
Mhm.
And when he was young, he used to come over to the house all the time. And he probably doesn't remember this, but he would chase me around the house, try to bend my finger backwards.
That's fun.
Yeah, and that was
As
like
kids.
yeah,
That's weird.
small world.
Just a small world. All right, so now let's get into. So now you're a grown adult at a high school.
Yeah.
What do you do?
Well, when I graduated high school, about a few weeks after high school, I ended up in jail,
Mm-hmm.
and I wasn't applied to any colleges or anything. I was actually working at a magic shop downtown. Yeah, in the River Center.
Is it
So-
still there?
No, it's not there. It's called Magic World. It was so much fun,
I could imagine working at a magic shop. That was awesome.
Yeah, it was fun. It was a lot of fun.
Like a costume store.
So but yeah. So when I was the summer after high school, I went to a party. I think it was a West Side,
Mhm.
and there's a gunfight, and we had to leave. And one of our friends still had like a friend or a girl that he had at the party, so we had to stop down the street, and we were waiting for him. And then a lot of cops came and saw that we were still hanging around, and they started following us. And then the car got pulled over. It was like 4 or 5 of us. I was sitting in the back seat.
That's rough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, long story short, I ended up in jail. But I ended up in jail that night, and that's when I kind of realized, what the fuck is going on, man? Like, I come from a good family, like, like I had a good life. I had a roof over my head. I had, love in a family. Like, how did I end up here? Like after high school, like, and I did suffer like a big uh, kind of depression and a substance abuse cycle when I was in high school because I injured my knee, and I was hoping to play college sports. But my senior year of high school, I got this knee injury that like took me out for the whole year, and that's when I started getting into drugs and skipping school, and I had like 104 absences my senior year, man.
104.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
But I was blessed because before this situation happened, I had a good relationship with the faculty and staff, and people liked me and knew me and stuff. So everyone can see I was going down a downward spiral, but no one actually lifted a hand to help me out.
Yeah.
So I kid you not, man, but this really happened. For my speech class in my senior year, my teacher literally said, "Just buy me a burger, and I'll pass you."
That's funny,
dude. I am not even kidding. And I went enough times to where like I wasn't truancy all the time, and I did enough work to like, have some grades in the class. But at the end of the day, I missed some stuff that she needed, and some makeup work I never did. She said,
"So you just bought her the burger."
Yeah,
dude.
Yeah, which is cool at the time, but at the end of the day, like, man, no one really helped you out. Like someone should have pointed you in the right direction. And I think
some people get lucky, some people don't, man.
Yeah.
That's the cards you're dealt sometimes,
So, my senior year of high school was pretty bad. I ended up going to like a downward spiral. I was depressed, abusing drugs, and then ended up in jail. And that's kind of when I realized, like, this is what scared the shit out of me, man. I was sitting in jail, like, frightened, right, in this holding cell, and I see a guy on the ground, like, balancing, keeping his balance, and just like, you can tell he was on some kind of drugs or something. And then that just made me realize, like, what the hell am I doing, man? Like, with my life, and I was destroying myself because I was pitying myself, and that's when I had the dream, like, I need to do something crazy, and first, go somewhere where you want to go. Like, I love the tropics, and I love the water, and I thought of Puerto Rico, Hawaii, because you don't need a passport. Yeah. And I said, Hawaii is like the craziest thing like I've ever heard of. No one that I know ever just goes to Hawaii. Like, it's such a big.
Yeah, dude, that's a big leap. I've always wanted to go to Hawaii.
Yeah.
I've never been ever. I mean.
Yeah. So so it turned into like a blessing, because that made me realize, like, I gotta dream big. I gotta pick myself off my feet. No one's gonna pick you up.
I think there's this thing Joe Rogan says. It's like if you're in a bad situation, like a lot of superhero movies, like a lot of those superheroes start off in like crappy situations, and they're somehow lifting themselves up to become that superhero.
Yeah.
It's like live your life like you're becoming that superhero.
Nice.
Like, and I always think about that. It's like, you're a piece of shit now.
Yeah.
But you're becoming that superhero, and sometimes you just need that wake up call,
And you have to be your own superhero.
You gotta be, you gotta be the person that lifts yourselves up, Like, and sometimes you gotta be your guy.
Yeah. And so that dream, going to Hawaii, I realized that there's only one way I can get there, and that was through school, because I didn't have any family or friends that lived there, I didn't have any money. But I've heard of these programs like study abroad programs, or these programs that you can go study places. That's all I knew. I didn't know what. And so by the next month, and like the next few weeks, I was already applied to college, and I actually started at SAC, which is the community college, because my plan was to do 2 years, get my associates, and then transfer to Hawaii.
That's really cool, dude. I did 2 years.
Yeah. Community college?
Yeah.
Yeah, it worked out because I wasn't ready for college. I grew up in an area where I wasn't academically prepared for, higher education.
Man, you're missing 104 days, bro. You weren't exactly prepared.
Yeah. I know. But it's a reflection of the school that I went to. Like, they just let people pass by.
I mean, I think a lot of I don't know. I don't like our education system's rough in the United States.
Yeah.
I really think there should be like a big reform of there should be more trade jobs introduced at that lower level. there should be like.
I think teachers should get higher. It should be higher paid, but also more competitive. You know, because from my understanding, I'm not too sure, but it's fairly easy to become a teacher, and salary cap's kind of in the entry level is kind of, I'm not sure what it is, but it's not like high. But imagine like having to go to school for like 4 or 5 years, 6 years, and then being paid like over $100,000 to be a teacher. Then you only would have like good quality teachers.
Dude,
that's just a
in some countries, like engineers are looked at, no, not engineers. Teachers are looked at like engineers, like scientists, and they do get paid those salaries. They do get paid really well, and which makes sense because when you're not watching your children, do you want someone dumber than you watching your children?
No,
hell no. They're absorbing everything this human being is doing. Like, do you want someone that's not a highly, elevated human being watching your children? No, and that goes like, not just my children. Like, as a society, when you're at work, do you want someone that's underqualified watching your child? That doesn't make no sense.
Educating your child. Right?
Educating your child, not even just watching them, educating them. Yeah, like that doesn't make any sense to me. It just it blows my mind.
I spent some time in doing a program called CITIER. So I did kind of like volunteer work for a year called CITIER's and AmeriCorps program, and I worked in a underperforming and low developed school. And what I found was that like teachers spend their time surviving classes, surviving the school year. You know what that means? It means that like teachers, they just wanted to survive the classes. They weren't trying to
make a
difference, educate, because they're so overwhelmed. They were so pressured. They were so stimulated. They had to deal with disciplining kids more than educating them. And it was a hard situation.
It's a tough thing. I really think at least our lower levels should be taught in, like, there's this like, it's a tough thing too. Have you ever seen that that what's it called? It's like a little story or something, some meme on the internet. It's like, if you judge a fish by how it climbs a tree, it's always gonna think it's a dumb fish.
Yeah.
Right. And there's this like picture on there. It's like an elephant, a monkey, a fish, and a kangaroo. Yeah. And they're like, all right, all you, the one who climbs the tree the best is gonna get to the top.
Right.
And that's kind of like how our system is designed. It's like,
that's actually pretty cool. Like, that's interesting.
It's a very cool way to look at it. It's like, that's true. It's like when we go through school, there's some people that are like just amazing artists, and we just beat down, and it's like you have to climb a tree. And then we have some people that are like amazing athletes that you got to climb a tree too.
Yeah.
It's like there's some people that are just amazing, writers. Like mathematicians, whatever it is. Like if you're not good at like the specific like 5 things that make us do, like, and it's such a broad aspect of things you can do.
Yeah.
But
man, we can go all day talking about this. I think.
Yeah, all day, dude. All day.
Anyway.
Yeah.
What's next?
So now you went to SAC, but did you also go to UTSA? That's what you did.
Yeah, I went to SAC, San Antonio Community College, which is actually almost as big as UTSA. It's like the 4th largest community college in the nation.
Oh,
I'm
wow.
bragging about community college, but I went there because I thought it would be easier to transfer with a 2-year degree than like transfer with credits to university in Hawaii. And the whole point of going to school is, was to get to Hawaii. And then I applied to different schools after I got my associates, and I didn't get in, obviously.
They didn't accept you?
They didn't accept me, and I also didn't know that it's the Hawaii just islands, man. It's not like one big old state like Texas. So I was applying to these rural, kind of like out of nowhere kind of schools, that are very competitive.
Oh, really? It's like very competitive to go to school in Hawaii?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of people with your idea.
Right.
There's a lot more than just you with that idea.
Once you realize, wow, like,
you know what I should do? I'll just go to college in Hawaii. Yeah. That way I could be in Hawaii.
Once people realize Hawaii is another state, just like Arizona is or Florida, then you realize, well, the process to go to school in Arizona is the same thing as the process of going to school in Hawaii.
That's funny.
But the way to get there is a whole different, and then the cost of living there, right? It's another different story. But so after I didn't get in, I tried a different route, which is the military. And so that summer in 2009, after I graduated with my associate's degree, I was looking for another way to get to Hawaii. and I came across a
Going to Hawaii was like,
that was
it was a fucking mission.
It was a mission.
I need to do this.
Yeah, since the day I was in jail, right? And so then I came across this military recruiter. I think it was an Air Force actually, and he said, "Oh, join the military, you do this and that." And then they said, "Oh, we have and then he pitched the idea of bases because obviously somewhere in the conversation I brought up Hawaii. So we have bases in Hawaii, right? And then like, oh, okay, now you got my interest. And then there's another way to get to Hawaii. And then when I did my research and I realized that there's different branches of the military, and then when I did the research about the boot camp, I got attracted to the Marines because it was a harder boot camp. I thought it would be more compelling to do that. So I said I would join the Marines because I want to go to that boot camp and I want to get to Hawaii.
That's a rough one, dude.
And it took me like 3 months. It took me like the whole summer, maybe 2.5 months to get into to do the process in the military. Now, normally I'm not sure how this works, but you go to a recruiter, you show interest, and as soon as they can, they'll get you what's called signing the oath, which means that you sign a note that you're going to be in the military.
Yeah.
Their job is to do that process as soon as possible. But with me, it kind of got delayed because I had medical records they had to pull because of my surgery that happened, when I was in high school, and then they had a hard time getting my medical records because I had major surgery.
Yeah.
And then also because I was in jail, they had to get the legal records. So it kind of prolonged the process, which gave me the opportunity to like really think about it.
Yeah.
And so I did the ASVAB, and I did the practice kind of physical test they had us do, walking on the knees and stuff, which I was nervous about because I have injuries. And then, I went through the whole process and I was pretty much in. And then my recruiter said, okay, this is your signing oath day. You come in on this day, you sign the oath.
Oh, wow, you got that close.
Yeah, you got that close.
Like when you sign that, you sign your life for like the next 4 years, right?
Yeah.
God, that's close, dude.
Yeah.
That's like real close.
Yeah. That was in 2009. I would have been in the military. I would have been in the Marines that long, But the only reason why was to go to Hawaii.
Yeah.
And I respect anybody that's in the military, and I respect anybody that's in the Marines. But I felt like I was after I thought about
like John, bro. 20 years,
20 years,
Marine, bro.
Yeah.
You don't get more manly than that 20 years as a Marine, dog.
But I was joining the wrong reasons, and I just wanted to go to Hawaii, and I joined the Marines solely because I wanted like the harder boot camp.
I don't think that's a bad reason, dude. I think for a lot of people, I think it straightens them out, especially people that come from like lower income areas. I think.
But here's one thing I learned about the Marines is that you're trained soldier first. You're a soldier first, and if they don't need you for whatever that is, and then you have other jobs in the military. That's different.
Correct. I mean that's the Marines though. That's just that branch. But like if you go to the Air Force or whatever, if you go to another branch, then you train differently. But like I have this like they I was talking to my brother about this. He was telling me like when you first get there to that basic training, what they're trying to do is break you down to the lowest possible like person, so they remove all your upbringing and then they install Air Force.
Wow.
Like that's what the basic training is supposed to do. But for some people, that's probably not that good. But for me, when I think about it, like if you put that into like someone that just was brought up in a bad household,
doesn't have direction or
they don't have they don't have direction, they don't have discipline, they just came from like a gangbanger background, there's just coke
need some
dealers,
structure,
they need some structure. If you take that person and you do that type of
cleansing,
bro, they'll become a better person.
I believe so.
I think it's good for that person. But if you have a good upbringing, it's like if you like the military, I don't think
if you're trying to go to Hawaii, like
if you're trying to go to Hawaii,
think to yourself, like is that your number one choice? Is there a different choice? Because
that's probably a different choice.
It's a commitment, and then I bailed. I didn't show up, and I ghosted my recruiter. I
never
bailed.
talked to him again.
And I said, fuck, I had to find another way to get to Hawaii. And I said, well, I need more time, so I decided to just continue to get my bachelor's degree to continue. Now give me 2 more years to plan it out. That's why I went to UTSA.
Perfect.
And then
Did you go to the campus like up there? And
so by the time I got to UTSA, I was already second year, and so I was already in my upper level classes. And so some of my classes were I had to take downtown.
Oh,
But for the most part, I was at the main campus. That's where I
Okay,
started
nice.
the LDS. Actually, I started LDS my last year, Latin Dance Society, my last year at UTSA. And during that time, it gave me time to apply to grad school, and then I realized, wow, grad school is pretty tight. You know, you need good grades and good overall resume and stuff. So I said I need more time. And after I graduated college, I did a program called City Year, which is like AmeriCorps, like the Peace Corps. And so the Peace Corps goes to like different countries and saves the community. This year is more locally, and it works with communities and low economic social development schools.
What's that one called?
City Year, like city and year.
City Year.
Yeah, and also I would get a scholarship if I did that year. It's 11 months commitment, and you get a stipend, but you pretty much belong to City Year. And then
Okay, nice.
I was gonna go to DC or Miami. I wanted to go to DC because it's something different than like San Antonio. Or I thought about Miami because of salsa.
Really different.
Because they had Latin dancing there, and I was starting to get really into Latin dancing at the time. But at the end of the day, I felt like a responsibility. If I was gonna dedicate a year of my life to like serving the community, like I should serve it where I'm from. And the same kids,
I think that's a good thought.
That's why I stayed in San Antonio, and then that year gave me time to apply to grad school in Hawaii, and to round up my resume and give me a year, give me this experience.
And this is why you were going to UTSA.
I graduated UTSA, I got my degree, and then after I graduated, I did City Year.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, to give me more time to apply to grad school
Okay.
and figure it out, because at that time I was just learning about the different islands. I was like, oh shit, like there's a major college on the major island where 80% of people live in commerce is Hawaii. It's like, that's a school. That's where I gotta go. By the time I figured that out, I was already gonna graduate college. It's like, okay. And then actually, I was hanging around St. Mary's University, and I was walking around because I used to play pickup soccer there with some brothers and friends.
Mhm.
And I saw a little statue that said Chaminade University Sister School of St. Mary's in Honolulu, Hawaii. And for some reason, for no reason, I read the little plaque. I was like, Chaminade, Honolulu, Sister School, St. Mary's? Like, oh, shoot. So I looked it up, and they had a program called, for psychology that I was really into, which was, counseling psychology in this kind of Catholic private college, small private Catholic college called Chaminade, which is a sister school from, so I remember emailing. I still have this email from 2008 and 2009 where I was like, hey, I'm interested in going to Hawaii. And then the guy who I emailed actually used to live in Austin, and then used to be a professor at Texas A&M. So he would kind of share about the whole UT. I'm not sure you know this, but UT, Austin, and A&M, they're kind of rival colleges. And
Okay.
yeah, so we kind of share that. And he used to live in San Antonio, and I still have those emails.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So that guy was from San Antonio.
He was from Texas area,
And he just completely.
and he was like the dean or the admission records from that school I was trying to apply to.
Mm.
And then, so doing City Year also gave me time to earn a scholarship, gave me time to apply to grad school, and then gave me an opportunity to serve in the community, San Antonio.
Okay.
And then after that, it's when I went to Hawaii. So I finally got in. And so in 2007, when I was in jail and I thought about going to Hawaii, it took me to 2012 to finally get there.
I mean, I think it was well worth it.
Yeah.
Sometimes, I think sometimes, the longer goals are the most important ones because they keep you on track in those long periods
Yeah.
of time.
Yeah.
I think if you think of a goal that's too short and you achieve it, I think it's easier to get off track. At least in my head, if you make something so hard that's gonna keep you focused for a really long time.
Yeah. Almost something impossible. Who would have thought a kid from the inner city of San Antonio with no family, no money, with immigrant parents could move to Hawaii? Back then you had to. Well, at least now it's a little bit easier. Back then you had to have money to go to Hawaii. You thought honeymoon or wedding or something, or you needed to have you be an executive with a lot of money to go to Hawaii.
Yeah.
And so you're right. People with big dreams,
Yeah, and I
People with
think
big dreams
a
need to get
lot of the
pulled.
time it's not even that. I think sometimes you came up with that big dream because you had to. In that jail cell, you were like, "Fuck, man, what else could I do with my life other than sit here with this
Yeah.
crackhead that's having a seizure?
That's almost a summary of like.
like this fucker right here. Is this me? Like,
Yeah.
no, I need to come up with something. It's like, but I think a lot of times, sometimes when you're at the bottom, and some people would go a lot lower. Like
Mhm.
that's probably not the worst you could be, but some people
Yeah.
have to go a lot lower to have those revelations.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
like,
Those
so when you
epiphanies,
have those revelations, it's like those moments are important in your
Yeah.
life because they're like, all right, I need to do this. I need to do this. For some reason, sometimes something gets in your head.
Yeah.
You're like, I need to do this.
Yeah.
And then you pursue that, and it keeps you focused, and it keeps you out of trouble for a really long time. Because like I have the other saying, like the idle hand is the devil's plaything.
Mm-hmm. Like the one
Yeah.
breaking shit.
Yeah, dude, you start doing dumb stuff. But all right, so at UTSA, that's when you started dancing,
Yeah.
and you were in LDS.
Yeah.
Were you in the LDS when Janae was there?
Yeah. And she was already there before I got there.
Okay.
There's a few people that you still know that were already there.
Oh, really?
And I remember this was my spring semester of my third year, right?
Mhm.
And it was late at night, and I was studying the library, and I was going home, and I was walking to my car, and I remember seeing like a little flyer on the ground that was purple, and it was backwards, right? So it was just purple. For some reason, I just picked it up, and in the back, I saw like one of those silhouettes of people dipping, the silhouette clip art.
The classic, bro.
Yeah.
The classic.
And it said like Latin Dance Society.
The classic salsa logo. Just
like
a guy
dip
dipping a girl.
It was just a silhouette and with this like purple bluish kind of flyer, and it said Latin Dance Society. We meet on these days in the rec. Now, and I remember at the time I was really like chasing this girl who used to go to UT and dance salsa or something. Like I heard she danced salsa or whatever, and like, oh, this really impressed
You're
her.
like, I know I work.
Yeah. And that was
the male mind at work.
Yeah.
The basics.
Just it's like something.
It's like,
Yeah. And I remember this because that was the only reason why I was like, oh, let me. And there's an email. And I remember emailing whoever was the president at the time. But at that time, like it was towards the end of the spring year, and then I think they had a few more meetings or classes, and they were going to wrap up or something. But I remember like, oh, okay, whatever. And then the summer passed, and then in the fall, I remember, my last year at UTSA's, I want to get more involved with the campus life, because at that point I was so focused with Hawaii and working and like researching and working on myself and training for like marathons that I didn't really had like a chance to really get involved in student life.
Gotcha.
And so I convinced a friend of mine who's this big bulky kind of muscle guy who's like my brother, and he's all about like working out, going to the rec, and he's taking me with him, to spot him and stuff, and he was dating a Latino girl at the time. And I said, hey, you want to go to this salsa stuff, with me? He's like, yeah, well, I'll go with you, man. Like, I got this girl who I'm dating. She's Mexican or something. Like, so I convinced a buddy of mine to come with me.
Just one guy.
Yeah.
This is white chick, bro.
If it wasn't for him, Dylan Bishop, it wasn't for this guy, I wouldn't have the courage to go by myself, to like this random place. So I needed.
I definitely didn't, dude. If I was in college, dude, I didn't join one club. I didn't go to. I think might have been maybe one church meeting I went to.
Yeah.
And that's it. But I didn't join any clubs.
Yeah. So we stepped foot, and then he lasted for about a few weeks, and then kind of, fell through. And then I remember like I realized when I didn't care about like that girl that I was interested at the time. When I started going because I had a lot of fun and I liked the people there and I was enjoying the experiences.
I think that's what happens. Though.
Yeah, it's like
I think for me, I was like, man, I'm gonna go find some girls at this dance place, and maybe and then like when you go there, and then my instructor was so nice. It was like, shoot, I like being here.
Yeah,
It gives me something to do.
Yeah. I remember we used to have classes. I think it was a Thursday because after the salsa classes, we would go to Arjohn's.
Yeah.
And at the time, it was
that's the best, dude.
I know it was the best. It was free.
Awesome
For a college kid. Like I would go like 4 or 5 days out dancing back then, and it was all free, no cover, and I wasn't drinking. So
Bro, you're
being
like,
a broke college kid,
you're like the worst.
I'm not the worst. I'm like that is like the common salsa dancer. Like, bro, you can't give away beer sometimes. Some people just want to go and just dance, and
That's
drink
true.
water, and like for the most part, like salsa dancers aren't drinkers.
They're not. They're
You,
not.
you have a few people that like to drink and dance. I'm actually one of them. I like to drink and dance. But at the time, like, I was there. I was just dancing, man.
Yeah.
I was okay with just drinking water.
I'm more of like, I like to drink or dance.
Yeah.
I don't like mix of the two. 'Cause once I do one of that other one, the drinking one just turns into pretty bad.
And then you end the night singing mariachi songs. Like,
I
you do, like,
Go check that out on their
I know.
YouTube channel.
we still have it. Yeah.
It's for my birthday.
That was fun. That was a lot of fun.
That was a good day.
We had
Watching that was so cringe.
You're like in the middle, like just pumping your hands up like you like the party. Yeah, I remember we would go to Arjon's, and like for like 5 months, man, I would only step on a dance floor with someone that I knew from the club that we all went together.
Yeah.
Because I was so nervous, I was so shy.
Yeah, dude. Those
Didn't know.
tough times, dude.
It was the best too.
A lot of people
Yeah.
have those, dude. Going out there, especially by yourself, it's hard.
Yeah.
Shouts out to Arjon's.
Arjon's.
All right, Arjon's is a
around.
great place. If you guys haven't gone there, here in San Antonio, this is classic. I like Arjon's. I mean, right now, caution.
Yeah. Consider it.
Yeah. But
But that's one of those
that's
places.
one of those guys that should have in here.
Yeah.
Maybe I can have
His
him on the
name
show.
Arjon?
His name's Arjon. He's usually at the front door.
Oh
If
yeah.
you go to the front door, he's there.
Yeah.
He's like a super old dude.
And back then, I think 18-year-olds were free, and before like 11 or 10, it was free. So we would all get there like super early and stuff,
Mhm.
and we would all congregate. Janae was there, Daryl. There's a few people that like I still talk to today, Steve and Melly.
Mhm.
In fact, I remember I was dancing salsa at Arjon's, and I was learning the basic step. And do you know Steve and Melly? They live in Houston. They're like one of the first people who started LDS. Now they're married. They have a house in Houston. They live in Houston now, and they're like a generation I think before Janae, for example. And I remember dancing salsa, and I was doing the basic step, and she said, "Okay, now you're ready for something else. Like what's that? It's like crossbody. Here, do this." And she kind of back-led me to doing the crossbody. She did it 2-3 times on the dance floor at Arjon's. And then I kind of just winged it the rest of the song. And she's like, "Oh my God, you did it! You're awesome! Great job!" And I remember feeling like a boss, knowing how to do a crossbody. I felt so empowered that I learned something spontaneously on the dance floor that some people would learn at the classes and stuff. So I was like, "Oh man, this is for me."
I'm a fucking pro.
Yeah.
What do you mean? It's
So-
Dario Mambo in the house.
So shout out to Melly for teaching me crossbody lead on the dance floor spontaneously at Arjon's.
That's really funny. All right, so that was LDS.
Yeah.
Shouts out to LDS.
Shouts out to LDS.
And then somehow you got to Hawaii. How'd you do that? And then what did you do in Hawaii?
Well, I went there to grad school.
So you got into grad school.
I got into grad school. I took my bike and I took like 2 luggages, and I
And
got
that's it?
there. Yeah, I just kind of figured it out. I went there with $900 in my pocket,
Mm-hmm.
and and I enjoyed it. You get there after working so long for like something like that, and you're like, oh shit, now what? After you settle in, and then sometimes in life you don't know why life pulls you in a certain way, and you think it's because of this, but when you get there, you're like, oh, now what? And then life kind of doesn't seem so exciting or fruitful,
Mhm.
and then other things happen in your life, and you realize that's why I had to come here.
Mm-hmm.
And not to put it on the spot, but I didn't have to go to Hawaii to go to Hawaii. I went to Hawaii because I had to find my wife.
Mm-hmm.
For those of you that can't watch, she's actually here, she's chilling. But yeah, I moved to Hawaii, and I was there for like about a few months, and I was living it up, hiking, surfing, learning how to like free
You know how to
dive.
surf?
Okay, when I say surfing, it's trying to surf. Someone grew up in Texas, not used to the beach, doesn't not have the skills.
Dude,
like,
I've always
yeah.
wanted to surf.
It's hard, man. It's really
It
hard.
sounds hard, dude. But if you're out there every day,
But here's one thing. Here's one thing that I considered. You know how the sun here is brutal, right? The idea of just sitting on a surfboard and waiting for that perfect wave in the middle of the sun for like hours just didn't appeal to me. You know what I mean? Like I was I'd rather be in the water than on the water. So I was more like into like snorkeling, and I was still really into running. You know, and you know,
I heard Hawaii hikes are fucking badass.
man, every weekend I would
Like
go somewhere. You
they're
know,
probably like some of the best.
yeah,
Like I seen pictures. Looks
Yeah.
amazing.
yeah. So I got there, and I gotta tell you a story. I'm not sure if I told you the story, and I'm gonna try to make it long because it's very detailed. But I get there in September 18th, 2012.
Mhm.
By October, I find I was renting a room in a house,
Mhm.
and it was kind of in a little port area, and it had a huge kind of mountain called Coco Head, which people go to exercise. And then across Coco Head, one of the most famous snorkeling spots called Hanama Bay. So in that area is like amazing, right? And it's close to the water. And I was living there by myself. You know, I was renting a room in the house, and it was like a Saturday. It was actually Halloween weekend. And again, I didn't know anybody. I didn't have any money to go out meeting people and stuff. So for the first few months, I kind of just stayed to myself, kind of enjoying the nature.
Mhm.
And I was at the movies watching a movie called Chasing. Or I think it was called Maverick. It was a big surfer movie, big wave surfer in California. You know, about guys surfing. It's called Maverick. And I was watching the movie, and it was the beginning of the movie, and it's about this big wave. You know, you can feel the theater, you know, moving from the sound effects. And then, like 5 minutes into the movie, I'm sitting in the top, in the middle, and I see someone walk in and kind of whisper to someone they obviously knew, you know, hey, hey, and you can hear him, hey, there's a tsunami warning outside, we gotta go. And like at first, like, oh, wait, what? And when I realized that he wasn't announcing it, he was just telling his people. I kind of like zoomed in, and he said, "Yeah, there's a tsunami." He was whispering, "There's a tsunami warning. We gotta get out of here." And then those people got up and left, and I was like, you know, you have a spider sense, you know, that thing kind of just went up. Like, what the fuck, tsunami warning? Like at a movie theater, and of course, I think I was primed because I was watching this movie with big waves. So without hesitation, I threw my popcorn, left my drink, and I started walking. And I was thinking, no, this can't be happening. This can't be happening. Like, I was thinking to myself, I'm by myself. I don't know anybody. Like, what's gonna happen? My family doesn't know what's going on. They live
I'm gonna die from the tsunami.
And I remember walking down the movie theater, and in the lobby, there's a big open space with the popcorn stands and the concessions and everything. And I walk down the lobby, and it's really calm. You hear the music. No, this can't be happening. No. I'm just gonna go home and just figure this out. I open the door, and I don't know if you ever heard a tsunami warning, like siren. Like it's.
Oh, there's a siren.
There's a siren.
Oh, there's like a siren.
There's a siren.
Oh, this is like a tornado move kind of thing.
Yeah, there's a siren, and because we're by the port,
this is like real old school, bro.
Yeah, because we're by the port.
There's
like,
a siren.
There's a siren like really close to the community, so it's loud, and people are rushing to the cars. Cars are backed up. It's like chaos outside the movie theater.
What?
And so I freak out. I'm on my bicycle, man. I have it like locked up to.
At least you're on your bicycle.
Yeah, but I live like 6 miles away.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if this thing is coming in 2 seconds or in 2 days. You know, so I get it's going crazy in this sound. Like it's a small pitch, and it just gets like max loud, and just it stays loud.
Yeah.
It's traumatizing. And I go to my house, you know, and I go to the house. I was living. I turn the news, and there's like a tsunami warning on the news saying there's a earthquake that happened in the water and next to Alaska, and the ripple effects come to Hawaii. You know, so brace yourself, blah blah blah. And I'm freaking out. You know, I live like 1.5 miles from the ocean, and I live kind of like on top of a little mountain. So I knew I was high enough, but I didn't know. I felt like I was too close to the water, so I had to go somewhere where I'll be safe. And I remember at the mountain, the people would go exercise like that. I'll be safe up there. And so I packed my bags for like 2-3 days of food and clothes. I called my family saying, "I love you, I miss you," and like, you know, updating them what's going on.
God.
And I got on my bike.
Straight freaking out, bro. You didn't even ask the people you lived in.
This is like
This
is like 8 weeks living in Hawaii. I grew up in San Antonio, so like we don't have no kind of natural disasters.
Funny about that? I think like I've lived in Florida my whole life, so like I kind of understand just because when people ask me, they're like, "You're from Florida?"
Yeah.
All those are hurricanes,
Mm-hmm.
and people like freak out because of hurricanes, and like new people, hurricanes coming, and like meanwhile like people from Florida have like hurricane parties.
Yeah.
You know, like,
hurricane parties, right?
Yeah, and then like no one really gives a crap
Yeah,
anymore.
that's exactly what happened, man.
And then, but people that are not from there, they're like, hurricane.
Yeah.
You know,
It's almost like exactly what happened. I freaked out. I climbed this mountain that people use for exercise. I climbed it with like 20 pounds of food and water. It started raining, and I get up. There's like little bunkers from World War II, and I go in there, and you know, it's like tags, like graffiti in there, and I'm there not knowing anything. And luckily, I had met someone, and I texted her like, "Hey, is it safe to come down?" She's like, "Where are you?" And this is after like 2 hours, and the sirens had stopped. You know, the sound kind of cleared out. All you hear is the waves crashing on the side of the cliffs, right? And just got so quiet in the moonlight. Luckily, there's a full moon. So
this was nighttime.
This is nighttime. This is like 11 o'clock. By this time, it started like around 8 o'clock. This is 11 o'clock. So I've been up there for like 2 hours by myself.
So this is like, you had no idea.
I had no idea.
That nothing was going on.
And
you were in a straight Texas panic mode.
Dude. The thing that sucked most, that was my second time climbing up that mountain, because I had climbed up that earlier that morning for morning exercise.
Thankfully, you were healthy enough to climb the mountain.
Oh my god! And at the end of the day, you know, I come down and nothing happened, man. The water rose like 2 inches.
That's usually the case.
Yeah, like they usually explain, like, you know,
a lot
nothing
of
happened.
like,
I was traumatized.
People are just trying to avoid getting sued.
Yeah.
With those things, you know. Like,
yeah. The next day, I went to like eat breakfast, and I was thinking, this is all what people are gonna be talking about, this tsunami warning that everyone survived. You know, the news, the radio, the people at the grocery and whatever. But like, it felt like such a normal Sunday. I remember it was a Sunday. It felt like such a normal Sunday, and I just felt like I just survived this kind of like natural disaster, and kind of just cut it off that next Monday. So this Halloween weekend, the next Monday, it was the first of the month. Now Hawaii has a tsunami warning system testing on the first day of the month at noon, and I was at my job that I just got hired on the 22nd of October, so I was there about a week, right? And I was still new to this job, still new to Hawaii, just survived this tsunami experience.
Okay.
And we're in training, and next thing you know, at 12 noon, I hear the siren again. And the first thing I kind of got up, and like I noticed everyone was still kind of chilling, talking, and like my heart was like pounding. Like, yeah. Inside, I was thinking, oh, it's happening now. Like, it didn't happen on Saturday, it's happening on Monday now. Like, but I kind of made sense. Like, no one else is freaking out. You know, we're working with people with mental illness. You know, like, I don't want to be the guy who's having delusions. So that's how that's kind of how I scaled it. Like, no one else is moving, no one else is reacting to it. So it's all internal. Maybe I'm hearing it. I honestly thought I was having a delusion. And it turns out every first of the month they have this testing, and turns out it wasn't a tsunami that happened. The ocean just rose like 2 inches. And that was my, initial reaction.
So these happened a lot then while you were there.
Yeah, like how many times in Hawaii did I experience like tsunami warning? Like 4 or 5 times. And each time it's more like a precaution that the state does just to prepare itself. And people rush to the gas station, get stuff. But we never had. When I lived there for the 5 years, like it was never crazy. In fact, that same day, people were like at the beach hanging out.
All right, so
I was just that stupid idiot.
So now, after you get over your tsunami warning panics, when did you start dancing salsa?
So that one thing I knew about going to a new place was that like I meet people in church, because I used to be involved in church, and in playing soccer, playing pickup, and dancing, and also my work. And so, because I knew about the salsa community, I knew that at night I can find a community. So I kind of knew I had my pockets where I can meet people and grow a community and still kind of do my own thing. So I've always wanted, I knew salsa dancing was something, like a skill that I had learned in San Antonio that I can take there. And like, it's kind of interesting actually. It's one thing I knew, like, oh, I know for sure salsa, like it's a community. I can go meet people, and like over time I can make friends and build a community. So, and I joined a team because I thought that'd be the easiest way to me to get to know people fast. And I ended up joining this guy named Greg Henry, who had been there for like 20 years, 15 years, and everyone went through this guy. He had a team, and I started practicing with him, and it took us like a year to learn a routine that we never performed. This guy was not really organized, but like everyone loved him. He was like a local favorite, and everyone kind of went through. He had been established there for a long time. He's called the Salsa Man, Greg. Still a cool guy, and and that's kind of how I got started in Hawaii. And then the people who were in that class, in that team, also were joining another team by someone named Yuki, right? At the time, her name was Yuki Komiyama, and it was something about SalsaOn2 or like New York style. And at the time, I didn't know. I didn't care. I just dancing, enjoying. But I remember one of those guys showed me a cool little like a shine trick. Like, man, you're learning that? That's so cool. Yeah. And then that's when I'm like, man, like I'm kind of interested. But at the time, like, I was still like trying to figure things out, still enjoying my life. I was really active, like physically in Hawaii, doing sports and stuff. And I remember the next summer, October, by the next summer, there's a kind of she was hosting like a free salsa class and stuff. So I figured, I'm gonna go to take this free class, learn to shine on 2. At the time, I thought I knew how to dance on 2 because I knew a little bit, and that was my intention. So I went there. I met Yuki. I met people, and a lot of the local people were taking this free class that she was doing. But behind us, the team that she had been working with were practicing drilling because they had a show to do like that weekend. Mm-hmm. And I was just distracted by them. I was like, they looked so cool, like learning something. Like, wow, that's a lot that they're memorizing. It's like, I want to do that and stuff. And I just remember like they were like the cool kids or something, or like they were obviously like on a different level because they were working on something more kind of progressive. But we were just kind of still learning this free shine class. Mm-hmm. Wow, this is cool. This is kind of what I wanted to do, like be a part of something. And I remember at the end of class, he was like, "Oh, come back next week. Like it'd be fun. Come." She's like, "Okay." She wants me to come back, so I'll come back. Mm-hmm. And every week she would be, "Oh yeah, come back again next Saturday." It's like, oh, I must be really good because she really wants me to come back. And then like about 4 weeks, maybe like a month to that, she's like, okay, registration. In her words, it's like payment time. And so like people will have like class cards or like they'll pay and like, so they'll take class at a time or like they'll play in advance for class card. And that's when I realized, oh my gosh, she charges. And I felt like I had the responsibility to pay for the classes that I came. The free class was free because she announced it's free. But I was there at least 4 of the times. Like, man, now or so like I'll tell Yuki, can you give me like a class card? Can I pay you like as I go? And she's like, yeah, it's fine. And that's honestly like how I got introduced and involved with dancing on 2 and dancing with Yuki.
Nice.
Yeah.
When did you start taking it seriously and why?
So after about 2 years, I got tired for paying for the classes. Mm-hmm. So I figured, if I can make her fall in love with me, if I can convince her to marry, maybe I can stop paying for taking classes.
Life would be so much easier.
So I started working on it. No, that's not what happened. I about like 2 years of dancing, mm-hmm. On the team, and we were just doing choreography. She was just doing choreography at the time, and I was just a student, learning. I got really into it, and actually because you're doing it so often and for a long period of time, of course you get better. Everyone improves, and I improved a lot. And 2015 we worked towards taking a couple routines to New York for New York Salsa Congress, and that's kind of the team kind of got a little bit more focused, and everyone kind of got a little bit more determined. But the classes, the practice was so fun. We always had food and drinks. It was like a party. It wasn't a party. It was like a celebration every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. Mm-hmm. So we danced together for a long time, and it was fun. It was like a little salsa family. And we went to New York. When I got to New York, I can tell you the exact moment when things changed. We were in New York, and we had perform already. The next day, we were watching the shows, and I was standing up. They didn't have any chairs, and I was about 15 feet from the stage. The stage was elevated about 5 feet, and I was watching the shows, and because I wasn't performing that night. And I remember Eddie Torres and Eddie Torres Jr. came out, and they were right there. Nice lighting, beautiful background. I'll send you the link. I think I sent this to Art. Mm-hmm. Dude, I was like, hey, I sent it to him like, this is a show that's changed my life. I remember telling him that. And I watched Eddie Torres Jr. perform. It was like a cha-cha number. It's called Suavecito by Ricardo something. And it's a cha-cha, and they have like a kind of like a gown. Is
it blue?
No, it's a formal like a tuxedo tailcoat, and they have like the what do you call the fringes, the ruffles that come out. Oh. And I was like, I haven't seen this number, And at that time, I had been studying Eddie Torres Jr., Eddie Torres, and Adolfo, like a book, mm-hmm. This is in 2015. So I was super excited to see him perform live. And if you watch that number, it's a cha-cha number. It's very smooth and like nothing crazy about it. But at some point, it just hits, boom, boom, and I'm seeing Eddie Torres Jr., the son, just kind of going off and crazy. And I can tell at that point, like he wasn't trying to show off, or he wasn't trying to show up. He was just expressing. I was like, man, it was just like fire in me. It's like, man, like what he's doing to me, I want to do that. I remember thinking, like, I remember saying it to myself, I want to do that. That's what I want to do. I want to put fire into people. And then the whole show was just like an inspiration, And it's not the most impressive like routine they've done, but it's definitely one of my favorites I've done. Maybe because I was there in person and it changed. And that was 2015. And after that, I actually did a pilgrimage from Hawaii, from New York. I went back to Texas, and then from there I went to Spain to the El Camino de Santiago, the pilgrimage. I've talked to you about that, right? It's like a 30-day hike that had been planned for a year and a half. And at the time, I didn't want to go anymore, because that journey to getting there was like the process of me like figuring out what I want to do in my life. And at that time, like I wasn't sure if I wanted to stay in mental health or stay in real estate, because I was doing real estate at the time, or do dance, And so I went there. It was like a spiritual journey, and I kind of felt like I was such a high in dance to leave that and then go do this for like a whole month and a half, and like to go do this on my own in a country I'd never been. I kind of felt like, man, like I kind of want to stay and see where this goes. And then right before that happened, Yuki had invited me to do a duet with her, to partner with her. So this was already about 2.5 years of dancing with her. So it was an honor for me, for her to ask me to pair with her, to partner with her, because she was looking for a partner to do duets. And so we had discussed, we do this after New York and stuff, and we were exchanging music and like going back and forth of what song we're going to pick. And then she always told me about a dream number she wanted to do, and then okay, that's on the list. I like the song, and if Yuki likes it, I like it, right? And then I would send her music and stuff, and so we had this kind of playlist. We go back and forth. We get to New York, and one of the nights we went to a place called Taj, and they had New Swing Sextet playing for like $5 cover.
Damn, place, that's pretty badass for $6.
At a place.
New Swing, they're from LA, right?
They're from New York.
From New York?
Yeah, right. I'm not sure that New Swing Sextet. I'm pretty sure they're from New York.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure. And then they're playing live, and they had this artist from Peru called Cesar Vega, who was a young guy. He had a beautiful voice, and I still had this video on my YouTube channel. I'll show you, where Yuki's kind of holding wine, kind of dancing. I'm next to, who Willie Torres is. He's a famous like timbales player, and also he did his own music. See, like right here, and I'm like recording him. All this for like $6 in New York, and they had a hardwood floor, and everyone's dancing. And then they start playing that song that Yuki mentioned, that has been our dream song. It's called Maria Cervantes, Patito Puente. But they were doing their own remix.
Gotcha.
And I heard that song. I was like, I gotta find Yuki. Like, this is a sign. I gotta find Yuki. So I'm running in this crowd, and everyone's dancing. And if you're a good dancer, and the song by 15 seconds to the song, like, she's probably gone. She's probably taken. You know what I mean? It's like a lot of people like. She's from New York. A lot of people want to dance with her, and a lot of our students were there. Man, but I'm still trying to look for her. And then I'm in the middle of the dance, but I see these people walking, dancing. I see her. And she sees me, and we looked at each other, and this song is playing in the background, and we kind of just smiled and asked her to dance, and of course started dancing. But I think that's when we both realized, like, okay, this is a song we want to do. And unfortunately, that's when right after that week, that's when I went to Spain. So while I was in Spain, I was always in contact with Yuki, talking and stuff, and so when I came back from that trip, that kind of spiritual kind of trip, and I came back and then I was working with Yuki, our relationship started to take a different turn. It's like I've known her for like 2.5 years, maybe 3 years. I spent a lot of time with her, already by then, so I got to know her a lot. So it didn't feel like I was getting to know someone. It's like it felt like I already knew her.
Correct.
It felt like we were just, our relationship was like taken somewhere else, and then at the time I was thinking, like, when I saw Eddie Torres perform that night, I remember Junior, and I remember thinking, like, man, from where I am to where he is like such a big gap. Like, that guy's amazing. But then I started thinking, you know what? If I compare myself at the time in 2015 from when I first started, that gap is maybe the same length. So if I can get from where I started to where I am now, how come I can't get from where I am to where he is? You know, like what's stopping me? Physically, I'm fine. So I said that around that time is when I said in 2016 is when I started taking it serious. I started training. I started going to practices like 2-3 hours early. I started like really focusing on myself, and that's when I started really like I didn't just go to class. You know, like I was really like training. I would go 2 hours early to class to work on stuff on my own. And I did a lot of trial and error, man. I did a lot of trial and error, and it took me a long time to figure little things out. Like that ego step that we do, it took me like a year to figure out what timing that was on, and doing over and over again, and just even the swing and how we have the grapevine, we added a little swing to it. I couldn't get that for like 5 years. You know, I didn't know.
That swing's hard though.
Yeah,
that swing's real hard.
Yeah.
I only get it like half the time.
Yeah. And then, so around 2016 is when Yuki and I started dating.
Oh, nice.
And our relationship, I would say, really started. And then by 2017, at the end of 2017, we were already here in San Antonio.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So as soon as we passed a threshold in our relationship, we knew that, you know, we wanted to do this, and we decided to come to San Antonio because, well, I didn't say decided, not that I convinced, but I sold the idea of San Antonio because not only I was here, my family's here, I knew I wanted to come back, but I also knew this is a place where I knew that we could establish ourselves in dance, because the community here, the economics here, and the population here was just very suitable for a dream in building a dance community and a dance school to make a living off of dance. In Hawaii, it was a little tough. The economics there is a little different. There's not a lot of Latinos to support the culture, you know. And I hear with the whole fiesta thing, you know, and the arts, it's a very beautiful place that celebrates celebration stuff. So that after we got married, we moved the family here, San Antonio.
All right. I think with that, I think we should get into. I think you should show us one of your moves, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's get into that. I think we're ready.
I got something special for you.
Yeah?
It's something I've been working on for about 7 years. I haven't mastered yet, but hopefully we can master it tonight.
All right, let's go do that.
Let's go do that.
All right, Dario. So what you got for us today, man?
All right, I got something special for you. The reason why I said I've been working on this for 5 or 6 years, I think I said 7, is because it took a long time to learn little fundamentals.
Okay.
So I'm gonna break this shine down. It's a very simple shine, but then at the end I'll add some of what I've been learning over a long period of time. So follow me, okay? First thing we're gonna do, this shine, it's broken up in half, but there's two basic kind of patterns in it. There's a crossover and a Suzuki. So we go crossover and go right, left, right. So right, left, right. We call this crossover. We call it crossover, not walk around. A lot of people do this. Walk, walk, walk. Like that's not a crossover. The reason why it's called a crossover is because you gotta cross. In order to get over, you gotta cross and cross. Yes. All right. And then we'll go down technique in a little bit. All right. So give me crossover. Ready? And cross, cross, cross. Nice. Elbows high and out. Nice. Now here. Okay. One more time. 5, 6, 7. We go 1, 2, 3. That's a crossover. Okay. We can do this all day, but we're gonna stop from here. Second half, little Suzy Q. So we're gonna get a left foot here, and we're gonna cross over on the right side. Okay, we're gonna stop here. And let's go back from the top. Now let's break the second half off. The left foot, we're gonna go over and go Suzy Q. Okay, that's just the steps. Let's do this one more time. Just the steps. We go left, right, left. Or if I say it again, it sounds like this, and rock, rock, rock. Okay? It's pretty simple, right? Very simple. Cross, 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 and rock, rock, rock. Now, I know you already know this, but thank you for being a good sport about this, bro. All right, let's try it again. 5, 6, 7, we go cross, 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 now Suzy Q. Pretty simple, right? Now, this is one of my favorite shines because it has some of the detailed technique that we teach a lot in our classes. which is a lot of it is a twist and the crossover. So when we're dancing, we like to be what we call like a defense position, right? So we're kind of leaning forward as opposed to going up.
Yeah.
So when we're doing the crossover, we're kind of getting in the defense position here. Ready? 5, 6, 7. We go 1, 2, 3. Kind of charging, kind of like a charge. Right now we go Susie Q and Susie Q. Nice. Pretty simple. Let's go in and out of basic. Basic. 1, 2, 3. Here we go. 6, 7, and 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. Basic and 1, 2, 3. Last time. 6, 7, and 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7. Nice. Okay, so that's the basic step. That's the foundation of it. Let's get into a little more specific detail. When we're doing the crossover, we're going to point our knee up, toes down, and we go up, down, up, down, up, down. Okay? It's not a walk around.
What's the difference between that and
what
we were doing before?
A lot of people do this, Steve. They almost like march. March, march. So they almost step forward. Right?
Versus?
Versus up, down, up, down, up, down.
Gotcha. Okay.
Okay, good question. One thing you want to do is add a twist. Here, you want to be elevated. What do you call this, Yuki?
Lever.
Lever in French, a ballet term.
Relevant?
So you're elevated and give me a twist. Nice. This activates kind of the core. Nice. Knees bent, bro. There you go. There you go. Do you see this twist? That's how you want the crossover. Ready? And twist, twist, twist. Now do the Suzy Q. We're gonna exaggerate the twist. Ready? Left foot behind. Left foot behind. Ready? And Suzy Q. Nice. Basic. 1, 2, 3. Here we go. Twist. 6. Twist, 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 and Suzy. Basic. And 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7. Okay. Let's add some spice to it.
Okay.
How we add the spice to it is we do a little syncopated on the Suzy Q part. All right. This is one of Steve's favorite things to do. So we'll do a count and then I'll break it down what we do. Ready? 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 5, and 6, and 7, and 1, 2, 3. Pretty simple enough, right? All right, here we go. We'll break it down. Crossover and then pause. 1, 2, and pause. From here, what we're gonna do is in and out and in. Okay, one more time with counts. Left foot crosses and 5 and 6 and 7. All we're doing is stepping on and 5 and 6 and 7. Suzy Q on basic. 1, 2, 3. Nice. Okay. Last time. Basic. 1, 2, 3. I'll add one more thing. Here we go. 1, 2, up. 5 and 6 and 7. And 1, 2, 3. What I added there is elevation. So not only do we have more technique on the twist and the sharpness of it, now we're adding more dynamic to it. So 1, 2, 3, up. As we're going to Suzy Q, we're going bending, lifting, and as we're going cha 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 cha, we're going down. Okay? Just like this. 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 5, and 6, and 7, and 1, 2, 3. Here we go. 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 5, and 6, and 7, and a 1. At the ego. Here we go. 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 5, and 6, and 7, and 1, 2, 3. All day. 6, 7, and chuck, and chuck, and chuck, and chuck. Nice.
All right, guys. So the biggest thing I want to show is how those moves stack and how those techniques stack. So let's go back to the chair. All right, guys. So I hope you guys like that little breakdown of crossover Suzy. But let's get back to it. Where were we? Now we're here. Now we're at Fire.
Fire. Nice. I see you wearing that.
Yeah, dude.
Really
So
pretty.
I think I wanted to talk about the current festivities and maybe the new things to come, especially with the new change in format because of a situation.
Yeah. Right.
You know, what's happening.
Right.
I think that's kind of what I wanted to get to.
Cool.
So what can you tell us about that?
Well, we have the classes.
Correct.
And we opened them up to our current members who had been members before the pandemic happened.
Mm-hmm.
We're not extending the classes to new people just because we're trying to contain what's going on.
Correct.
And
Keep it safe.
So it's a small group of people, but the good thing is, you and I can still have these classes.
Correct.
So where I have the class 2 days a week. It used to be 4 days a week. Now we just have 2 days a week, 2 hours. And we're really enjoying it, man. It's like, in the midst of this whole thing that's going on, we can still find some kind of way to celebrate. And that's what our classes are for us and for our students. So we try to maintain our health. Our students try to maintain their health and try to have precautions in order to continue, man. Because it's such a, what's that word? Like uncertain times. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's very uncertain. And so we have all classes. We do all live streaming. So we have some students who don't feel comfortable coming to class, who actually just join live stream for part of the membership. And so every class we actually go live.
Yeah.
And this private Facebook group that we have for people who are active members who can take classes at home.
Yeah.
In fact, we were talking to James the other day. He lives in Hawaii, and he was telling us he's about to share his video because he was learning the shine. I think that you were doing.
Nice.
Yeah. He's like, I'm going to share. I'm going to post it. I'm going to tag him. But he was learning it live, But also what we have is kind of online classes that we have. It's called Fire Academy. Fire means fuego y agua. Fuego y agua. Fire, right?
Yeah.
Fire Academy. We have basically our first course, which is the fundamental one course online, and half of it is free that we give out and we share to our students. And then we also have a little bit more in-depth partner work, and we have like maybe 40 shines that we teach in our classes on there. Now, right now, we definitely just kind of just open up to all our students who have taken our classes. We send them the links, information. But in the future, the plan is to have more content on there as a supplement for our students taking our classes. So if they want to learn more, or if they want to relearn what they did, or if they miss a class, they can always go back to this kind of online database.
Yeah.
Or for the people who don't live in San Antonio, we've had requests from Iran or something. They want to take SalsaOn2 classes from us, but we didn't have content to give. So that's why we had to start the online classes. So we send him the links, and he's taking our classes, giving us feedback. So for people who don't live in San Antonio, they can take the classes online. And the thing about online classes for us is that, good? Yeah, we're good.
I was just making sure.
Yeah.
It's kind of worried.
So the thing about online classes for us is that at a certain point, it could be beneficial. And then once you go off the certain cap, it's actually more beneficial, learning on your own or social dancing. So really, we want to focus on kind of the basics, the fundamentals, and just add kind of more value, more content. There's basically more stuff that you can do, that you can put yourself kind of on the good rhythm. Yeah. And think about us, like we spent, it took us months before we started our classes to put together our content, our material for our syllabus, right? So everything that we do in class is very thought out, and there's a purpose. There's a purpose for everything. Once you get to like an intermediate level, you don't need so much structure. It's more about how to be spontaneous, and that we try to teach. But definitely in the beginning stages, we try to be more structured and more purposeful, and that's what our online classes are.
I think it helps a lot, especially like when you're trying to be more creative. I think being less creative in the beginning is probably more important,
right?
Because just like,
how do you get from A? If you want to do D, you have to know how to do C.
Yeah.
Well, you can't do C unless A and B work.
Correct.
And so we kind of have a pretty rigorous and kind of strict kind of like fundamental course. And you can't move out of the course until you demonstrate this material for your benefit.
Correct.
And so we're translating that to the Fire Academy, where we have different shines that we do. So if you want to learn shine, like crossover Susie, we have that on. So you go to Fire Academy. You go to the shine list. Oh, I want to do that shine, and you can see little previews. I want to do that shine, and you can click on it. You kind of have like a 3-4 minute breakdown of each shine.
Nice.
In the future, what we're going to try to do is everyone that teaches in our academy is going to have their own kind of folder. So, for example, you have Salsa Steve's own folder where you teach your own partner work or shines that you create, because you're kind of creating your own shines now. Yeah. And so forth and so on. So
okay,
definitely going to grow.
All right, that's good.
Fire Academy. Fire means fuego y agua. Right. Kind of play on that.
All right, dude. I have some weird questions that I wrote down.
All right.
Let's see. Let's see where we get here. All right. Would you rather have real life Game of Thrones or real life Walking Dead?
Okay, this is simple. Walking Dead.
Why?
Because I've never seen Game of Thrones and I have no reference to it. And in my mind, I've already lived through, like, you know, a lot of zombie movies and what I would do, how I'd react, you know.
How long do you think you'd last in a zombie?
I think pretty long.
Pretty long?
Yeah.
Really?
I feel confident that I can survive, you know.
Yeah.
But it depends on the circumstance. Like if it's overwhelming, like you ever watch World War Z or that movie with Brad Pitt?
Yeah.
Where they fucking run at you?
Like running zombies.
Yeah. Like,
There's a couple of tiers of zombies. There's like walkers, then there's runners.
Yeah, the walkers all day.
All day.
All day. I can poke them in the head and walk away. But like, or I've seen I Am Legend with Will Smith.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
those things.
Yeah, when they come out at night.
Not good. I'm pretty fast for a little bit, but yo, I steam out. You know, I'm really fast.
It really depends on what type of zombie it is, but I mean, I can figure it out.
All right. What old person thing do you do?
Old person thing that I do, man, it's a
funny question.
I'll tell you what. I'd rather answer like what I can't wait to do when I'm old.
Okay.
Is not give a shit, man. Well, I always tell you.
You can start right now.
Yeah. There's a medication I heard about that's going on. It's called what's it called? Oh man, I don't give a fuck or something like that.
Oh yeah.
Oh, motherfucker, I don't know, man. But once I get older, I'm gonna take that medication.
Yeah, dude.
There's something about old people, they just don't care about some stuff. So
it's the greatest thing on the planet, man.
Yeah.
I think I read something that's like when you're young, you think about like you think everyone's thinking about you, and like when you get a little bit older, you realize that you start thinking that like only some people are thinking about you, and then when you get old, you realize no one thinks about you. No one's thinking about you.
Oh, you know what? I got it. This is what I do now that I know I'm gonna be doing when I'm old. Is I like groan.
Yeah.
I get up sometimes, and for no reason, because it doesn't hurt. Especially like if it's kind of like if I want to try to get out of a situation. I gotta go, man. Or something like that. I realize I do that a lot. I got that from James, actually. It's on you, James.
What's your pump up song?
Dude, when I used to train for marathons, I had Tiger.
That's a good one, man.
I can play that song and I can get my heart rate at a certain level and just keep my running pace for like a strong. For some reason, I don't know. It's just.
That's a good song, man.
And then there's a weird song. So when it comes to the running, I used to be into kind of like long distance, kind of straight shot.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a song called "Into the Mystic" by Van Morrison, which is kind of like just a weird song. But I play that song and I just imagine cruising, you know, and I can play that song and I can just run for miles.
Yeah.
I mean,
there's some songs like I know Spotify does this. You can go to like the running playlist and they put like a beat in there. And like for like a certain beat, if you put it in a certain rhythm, you will run according to that beat.
Yeah.
And then you could actually, if you put it in a good rhythm for your body, you could run forever.
Yeah. I used to have a playlist where, especially in Hawaii, I would do like a 6 or 8 mile run, and I would make a playlist according to like the pace I'm gonna run. Mm-hmm. So I wouldn't put a strong kind of emotional song in the beginning. I would put it towards like the middle of the end. So
that's a good point. Yeah.
So I would kind of manipulate that, knowing like how I'm gonna run. When I do like a long run, I start to cruise. In the middle is when I kind of peak. I don't go crazy, but I peak, and then when I come down, so I kind of always match songs to kind of match that. So that, in a sense, that does work out.
Yeah. Superman or Batman?
Superman.
Superman?
Yeah, because he can fly.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, Batman can kind of fly.
Yeah, he's a human though. He needs like strings, or he needs like weapons.
If you had a theme song, what would it be?
I actually created a little theme song for myself on GarageBand, and it's kind of like a poppy song with like a little bit of Latin flavor to it.
You're gonna have to send me that.
Dude, you probably heard I played in some of the videos I first posted. Like, I forgot what I called it, but it's like a poppy kind of song, and you can hear the clave and some of that. I don't know. That's my theme song.
Everyone has their thing.
Latin party, I guess.
What's the most interesting thing you've read or seen this week?
This week?
Mm-hmm.
Oh man. This week from last day. Well, the first thing that comes to mind is the whole pandemic situation, man.
Yeah, that always pops up.
And not a classmate of mine, but someone that's kind of a year younger than me passed away from the COVID.
Oh wow.
And I was talking to Yuki about this. Like, he was 30 years old. He was young.
Wow.
And so that just kind of like the first thing that comes to mind, how interesting it is. It's not about how good your immune system is. I think people react different, not only to this COVID situation, but with really any illness.
Mm-hmm.
And it just kind of puts us more in a cautious, like,
yeah.
A lot of people think they're not going to get it, and I think just be paranoid, I guess.
Yeah.
Just be protective. And also, we were having lunch at First Watch, Yuki, Maria, and I.
Mm-hmm.
And Maria said one thing. She's like, "Can you believe we're living through this time?" And think about this. This hasn't happened in over 100 years. Nor will it happen again probably in another 100 years. So we just happen to be, in our early 30s when this happened. But there's some people that this never happened before and experience it in their, late in age or early in age. And so...
Yeah, I mean, it's weird for, like, big things like this to happen in modern times.
Yeah.
You would, in modern times, especially because we're, like, so nurtured and we all think we're so safe.
Yeah, and we have technology and we have a lot of solutions to things.
No one's going to bomb us. No one's going to come pillage and take all our women.
Right.
No
one's going to...
Like, there's no Genghis Khan.
Right.
Alexander the Great.
Right.
Those things are just... things that happened back in the day.
We have a government. We have laws.
Yeah.
You can't do that, bro.
Nah. But it is kind of weird. Wow, man. It's a very primitive thing. Like, at the end of the day, we're just monkeys,
Yeah.
Monkeys with technology. But
there's another thing that you don't have to add this, but recently I realized that I've read a lot of Rich Dad Poor Dad books.
Oh, yeah.
Robert Kiyosaki. I have like 4 or 5 of them.
Mm-hmm.
And I gave one copy of Rich Dad Poor Dad to Maria. I'm not sure if she's read it or not, but I've read like 4 or 5 of his books, and I was thinking, man, I want to reread them again to kind of relearn.
yeah, I like his fundamentals.
Yeah.
But I think some of the things that I read online, it's some of the people that follow him get a little bit too culty.
Yeah.
If you follow too hard, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But his fundamentals are sound.
And he's different now than he was maybe like 10 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah, but I like Robert Kiyosaki. Some of the basics, at least. I read the book. It's a nice little cute little book.
Yeah,
it's really fast. It's a fast read.
It's fast.
At least the first one. I mean,
easy to kind of like understand.
Yeah.
And the concepts there are like out of this world, but very easy to understand. Wow, I don't know this. I don't know that. Oh wow. And he's from Hawaii too, so.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
All right. So, do you have any questions for me?
Yeah, I got a question. That bomber, man. Like, what's up with that bomber?
Oh well, I mean, I guess this bomber is going to be one of the first prototypes for the Mambros brand. Hopefully, eventually I'll get that on the back, or either that or on the side of the arm.
Oh, it's nice.
I've been thinking about that, just on one side, just on one arm. Maybe we could get names right here. I'm still trying to figure it out.
Nice.
So
I like those bombers because they seem comfortable, but still like stylish. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I love bombers, dude. It's one of my favorite things to wear. San Antonio, he keeps it hard.
Yeah.
Be stylish for the bomber.
Last question is, so you've been doing these interviews for a long time. You have a couple episodes. So where's it going, man? Like,
I mean, I think I'm just gonna be as creative as possible and just continue going. I mean, I stopped for a little bit just because of the whole thing, but I think we're gonna get back to it, and I want to grow this channel, dude. I think that's I think I've been distracting myself with other things just because I've been locked up in this house.
Yeah.
I think now since we're starting, I feel like everything's starting back up. I'm gonna start back up as well.
You know, I've seen almost every interview you've done. You know, and
Appreciate it, man. Thank
you. Number one fan, I guess.
Woo!
But I actually learn a lot. You know, from different people that come in and provide different value, different perspective.
Yeah, I think that's another thing I need to I'm trying to do is like especially like I think I'm okay with like not knowing because like some people are more like I think I'm very knowledgeable in like dance stuff.
Yeah.
But like once we get like I think like Jose Amador, like it was a little bit harder to talk to him at his level because he's more advanced in a place that I'm just not.
Music,
and I think I want to get used to and like music exactly, and I want to not understand what they're doing, but be able to at least get to be able to talk to them about it. You know, not be able to do it of course, but be able to talk to different people in like these different subjects that are also like in our same world.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what I want to get to. I think it's really neat. Plus, I get some really good recommendations and meet some really cool people.
Yeah, Ataka Alamana were here.
I thought that was really cool.
You know,
they were right here in this couch.
Yeah,
they were really nice people.
You could have also had Adolfo here if it wasn't for that.
We could have. I mean, if it didn't happen, we could have had what's it called, Gio
and Kim.
Gio and Kim, dude.
Man, so if it wasn't for this COVID, like, we would be somewhere else.
Yeah, but it is what it is, and we just keep chugging along, man. See what happens.
Well, thank you. Thank you for inviting me here. Thank you for sharing with me.
Oh, dude, thank you for coming. But thank you guys for watching, and that's the episode. And I'll see you guys next week. Deuces.
Hey, Salsa Steve, going on adventures that you won't believe. Been around the world and back again. Don't miss, make sure that you're tuning in. Yeah, hey, good food.